traffic all along Spiegelville Road. After witnessing this student along the road within feet of a semi-trailer, it reaffirmed the danger of this road for our students. It's not if, but when one of our students will be injured or killed if this current situation is not fixed. I live by the philosophy that if you know better, you do better. We know Spiegelville Road is dangerous because in 2015, a traffic study was done by the city of Waco, which reduced the speed limit from 45 to 30 and labeled it a school zone. If that study proved that the roads were hazardous enough to reduce the speed limit, then it's hazardous enough for our district to provide buses to our students by deeming the surrounding streets as hazardous per the Texas Education Agency. We know better in this situation and have an opportunity to remedy the issue before the consequences are life-changing. I have like 15 seconds.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Finish up.
It is my request along with, my request along with hundreds of other parents in our community that have signed a petition that the board deem the area as hazardous so our students will be able to safely ride the bus to and from school. As a board and a community, let's do better for our students. Thank you again for your time and the commitment to the safety of our students. After all, it is the reason we are here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. All right, so do we have a motion to approve the resolution? Y'all have the updated and amended version at your seat. I believe everybody has that with the additional language highlighted in yellow on it. So that's the administration's recommended resolution for the board.
So moved as amended, yes.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Witt, second by Dr. Popejoy. Any discussions or questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Very good, thank y'all. Resolution for one-time COVID bonuses.
Okay, and also maybe Ms. Milligan, if we could have your phone again, sorry. All right, they're in your board packets. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to have a separate agenda item, but along with the comments made by Ms. Vick, thank you very much about this year and Dr. Jeannie Johnson's report in our year through COVID. And requesting the board consider and possibly approve a resolution that would, in essence, provide a one-time bonus to our staff members for the work of this year. You heard Mr. Brooks's report. You saw that the surplus that we are at this time in the month of May. Those that have been on the board historically know those continue to increase as we finish the school out and the books are closed for the year. But our staff have gone above and beyond the call of duty in terms of providing educational services to our students. And so what we're proposing are those, of course, that are contractual employees for a $500 bonus, and then our non-contractual paraprofessionals, hourly auxiliary employees, $250. And so that is required because it is above their current salary, even though we have as I said, the dollars in the district, because of the favorable balances. It's still required, though, that because their contract year is almost completed. As you all know, today is May the 18th. We just go to May 28th, which is only, remember, 8 days to go. So who's counting? But it's a good deal. But our staff has done an extraordinary job, and it would be my recommendation that we offer this one-time bonus. Again, that doesn't carry to the next school year. It's not a part of permanent salary adjustments or changing, but it is for all of our staff to receive some type of recognition and monetary recognition for their hard work in such a challenging year that we have had.
Very good. Questions, discussion from the board?
And it's certainly been a challenging year, and I certainly appreciate all the work that they've done.
Do we have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation?
Second.
Who said that down here? Mr. Alford moved, Ms. Vick seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries, sir.
Thank Thank you very much.
And yes.
Round of applause.
A small gesture relative to all the work that those folks have put in to get the students in the schools where they are, no doubt about it. Naming of the schools.
Here we are.
Here we are, Ms.
Now we
Marlin,
can,
here we are.
We can entertain a motion, but again, I think that it boiled down to what I heard. I'll just summarize real quickly. The recommendation of elementary number 7, which is off Ritchie Road, was 2 separate words, Park Hill Elementary School. And then elementary number 8, which is the former Woodgate Intermediate School, was Chapel Park, 2 separate words. Now, recommendation of the middle school, not there yet. I did not hear a consensus from the group. I think Ms. Marlin wisely suggested that that could be postponed. It's not as critical in terms of, very critical we feel for these 2 elementaries as we have rezoning occurring as well as opening in the fall of '22. But we could, once they're set, they would know then the feeder patterns that would lead to each of the middle schools, and we could then look at, as she said, more community input about changing the names and/or some of the possibility for names.
Just a different approach.
Right,
There's
take a different
There's an
approach.
option to do a different approach for the middle schools than the elementaries.
So I hope I summarized that.
No, you did. You captured it exactly. Anybody further discussion, questions? Anybody have a motion they want to make if otherwise?
Everybody's good having park and 2 different school names?
I'm okay with it. Because they don't both start with park.
Right, one starts and one ends,
Yeah.
But I just wanted to throw that out there.
And when I said sister campuses, what I was referring to is that not only are they happening at the same time, but the style of Woodgate is being renovated after the style of, well, actually, the style of Possible Chapel Park is being, after the design of Park Hill, where they're gonna have the central collaborative libraries and then the front office space, and have the libraries be part of an event space collaboration, the maker space off of it, and then the collaboration areas in the wings. They tried to make Woodgate be able to have that same exact philosophy for just newer age learning styles as well.
It was mentioned, I'm glad you brought that up, but what was mentioned about Chapel Park, very similar about the consensus or the highest votes about Park Hill, is the fact that it is a hill. There's a hilltop street over there, there's a Park Place street, but also remember, our property does adjoin adjacent to, it's not connected, but adjacent to the Hewitt Park. And it's hard to believe, but it is a continued downhill slope, if you will, from this new school, that then there is Hewitt Park, and then of course, right there, it's Castle Creek Elementary too, but there is geography, the hill and the park as well.
So I move we name elementary schools 7 Park Hill Elementary.
Second.
Do them all in one motion?
Sure.
And rename Woodgate Intermediate to Chapel Park Elementary. And that we defer naming the middle schools at this time.
All right. Motion by Dr. Popejoy, second by Mr. Tullis.
You sold me with geography lesson right there.
It is actually, I think, the highest point in the city of Hewitt. I think
It's
the
good
highest
that
point
an
in
old
Hewitt.
fella like you could, you know,
A young Rick Tullis would have voted for that too.
yeah, okay. All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
Congratulations, not
Thank
only are y'all building new schools, but you get to name them.
Exciting.
One step further. Consideration of personnel, we have a large number of professional recommendations. Anything we need to know about any of those, or we just need a motion and a second to approve them? So do we have a motion to approve the addendum at your place on the professional recommendations?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Vick, second by Mr. Alford. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Any other personnel matters? All right, very good. Thank you, ma'am. Superintendent's Communications?
Yes, sir. Just at your table there, I just wanted to be sure everyone had a revised map based on our board workshop regarding rezoning, we made one tweak, and that was discussed at the board workshop. It pertained to Hewitt Elementary and now Park Hill Elementary. And now I don't have to say elementary number 8. Very exciting. Just a little adjustment there. Thanks to Mr. Witt making a suggestion about to balance those two, and so you all agreed about that, but I want to be sure you had the same map. You could replace the other ones that you had before. So I just wanted to be sure you had those, so those are there for your convenience in the materials that you received on May the 12th. The other about zoning is just simply that remember that that's open. Our thought exchange is open. We continue to receive feedback on that. I tell it's, well, I guess traffic, lots of participants at this time. And we will continue to look through that and get that information. Remember, our goal is to have this on our June regular board meeting agenda, which is June 15th, for the decision point on our zones.
And while you're there, George, just
Yes, sir.
so the board, because I know that a lot of folks have been reaching out to board members, if you as a board member receive something that you aren't sure whether the administration has been provided that same information, please forward it on to them so the information can kind of be the central gathering point and make sure they have all of the input as we move forward, because I think that'll be to everybody's benefit.
And so we have a central location spot trying to receive the email type of communication, as well as, of course, what you all know that we received through this thought exchange.
Yeah, and I know a number of the emails that I've been copied on or that have been sent to me, it's clear that everybody on the board and the superintendent has received them, but I've received some that I think they only sent to me, and I've forwarded those on to the administration, so.
Is it possible to go to the thought exchange and explain perhaps why Speegleville can't get more students there?
Yes.
So the parents understand why that's not, people aren't being sent to.
Yes, we talked about that. We talked about at least like a Q&A of some kinds about, on the thought exchange about that, talking about Speegleville's capacity, and also reminding folks that the district didn't draw. We did have a third party. We had a consultant. They certainly look at neighborhoods. They don't know about neighborhoods or the history of neighborhoods. They look at them, and that's why at the workshop you saw, I got to turn that on, I apologize. That's why at the workshop everyone saw the fact that we did have a map that showed current students from each neighborhood. And so, as I said, our consultant drew these different scenarios, did not have history of the district other than knowing the current numbers, and was looking at them and looking at the guiding principles that were established and approved, and drew them. And so Ms. Vick's questions about some of the, I guess, comments on thought exchange, we could do a Q&A, just explaining also the fact that Speegleville does have a cap and the limitation of the number of students that it can serve. And so that's why the demographer, the consultant, looks and see if neighborhoods could even feasibly be moved to a certain school.
The frequently asked questions on midwayisd.org/rezoning, I've started updating those. I have several that are in draft mode that I have other eyes on to approve before they go on. I've already posted one about transfers. Were concerns about overcrowding from transfers. Put the numbers of transfers, how many are at each elementary, and the fact that more people transfer out of Midway ISD than in. So hopefully that can help. We've got some information about the number of, there is the map in the current map area that has the maps of how many people are in each zone. So you can look at it and manipulate it yourself and just say, okay, if this whole neighborhood went here, oh, that puts them over. And so you can actually, anybody, and it's public domain, can look at that and manipulate those maps, look at it and see how it pushes the elementaries over with that map as well.
Right, and I mean, I thought it was very logical that people suggested more people go to Speegleville, because that makes sense, but they just didn't understand why we couldn't even go to that option, so I think
That
it might
Speegleville's
help
only about half the
explain,
size of
help
Denver.
people feel better, or not feel better, but
Understand it better.
understand the situation better, because I could understand why they were saying that.
We
And they
can
didn't know.
continue to populate the frequently asked questions with that as well. Well, not interactive, I'm sorry. There is a map, it has all the numbers, and you can sit there and say, okay, I can take these 22 and go here and see. Sorry. No, it's with a calculator and math.
No.
You also talked about the policies that go along with rezoning. When are we gonna get the zones set first and then we'll talk about the policies, or how's that, what's the,
Ideally,
process.
we would know the zone first, because then we can determine how much space is left at each one. Grandfathering would probably be a component that is proposed in that, but you can't, I mean, we would have to come up with entirely different plans for all the scenarios, so we kind of need to narrow down to a scenario first. If in the May 11th meeting, we had been down to one scenario, we could now for that.
And Mr. Tullis is also talking about in board policy. At the very beginning of all of this, we showed some districts that had, in the future, about rezoning, attendance boundaries and policies. So, I agree, what we're saying is if we look at these, then we can see what areas in the policy we would need to address in the future.
Any policy changes as
To
well.
codify in a policy.
And that plan, and then we also are looking heavily at just the transition plan of how do we help with the mental health aspect for our families, and just the being excited about going someplace new and not another change from COVID, not another thing that is different, and you know, the hurt and the pain that comes with that. So
I know the changes a lot, but I think too, we forget it's gonna be another year before that change happens. I know they know that, but then I think also they're thinking it's gonna happen this fall, you know what I mean? And it's not gonna happen this fall, which will help a little bit.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Speaking of something to get excited about, graduation.
Okay. Yes, I just wanted to review a few things with you about graduation. Please take, I believe you have a packet there that has some instructions, the pass, parking, where to park, I'm saying, and remember it starts at 8 p.m. Request it, if you could, request it to be there about 7:15, so we start lining up. But with it being outdoor, there's some questions, and just wanted, again, not to be presumptuous and make any decisions. I do want to clarify real quickly, I think Mr. Witt had a question about the mask. Yes, at the end of the school day, the masks are no longer required, but we still do have, each student has 10 tickets. And so there's not a police of, if they were to share a ticket with someone else, if one family has more than 10 and one has less, but it is limited. I did speak with the new director of our health district a month ago about it, and the reduced capacity and what we were doing and those things. And so I did get approval to keep it as it was. But the masks now, we did say we're encouraged, but again, we're not requiring them of the graduates, of those in attendance. We certainly can be lax on that, but with probably between 500 to 550 will participate. Right. All of them are, sometimes some of them don't come back that may have graduated early. So 6,000 or so is our capacity of a stadium of about 9. And that's close. 9 is really tight. And so we still will have a large crowd there. So just wanted to clarify that. What's that?
Will it be a space out on the field as they were last?
Yeah, for the graduates. So they're not included in that. That's 6,000 spectators, up to 6,000.
They're not gonna be like just lined up in rows, they'll still be spaced.
Yeah, we'll space them out. Right,
Yeah.
yeah, right. It
Will it be
helps parents see their kid better too. Yeah, so very similar to last time, but I do need to know again about the attire. I hate to bring, but again, I didn't want to be presumptuous. You would like to go back to robes or attire, meaning coat and tie, or not coat. Last time it wasn't coat and tie because of the board, because it is warm. We've had a great spring, but I'm not the weatherman, thank goodness, so I can't guarantee what the weather will be on Friday night, May 28th. And so what are your thoughts? I need that. And then remember, because of the stage that we have, we do rent it from Penley. It's a little bit larger than last time, but not nearly as large as when we had Farrell Center. So the awarding of diplomas was still done by myself, me, and assistants from staff, but you could always come up with a special individual to give an award. Or we could go back and divide the diplomas back up, and we will work out a system. But you won't be on the stage. You'll have that same area that you were last year. The stage isn't large enough for that many platform seats and guests. So we will logistically figure out how to do that, to get, if you choose to divide the list up by 7, get your group and come up and do it. So I needed to know.
I like wear the robe.
Susan's a rover. So.
It's just easier as a woman to sit there with the robe on. It just helps, when you're in the dress for how many hours, your legs crossed. That's one reason. You don't have to wear your skirt.
This is when I get
Step back and get outvoted.
I vote business casual all the way. You can wear pants.
Absolutely not.
No.
Business casual, I don't think includes shorts. Anybody think robes are, other than Miss Smith? But I mean, business casual, everybody okay with that again?
Yeah, you wear it. Wear your robe.
I won't be wearing mine, no. The platform, Mrs. Smith, myself, we'll have our robes on. As you know, the teachers wear theirs. I don't know, are they still gonna wear theirs, the teachers that are I call them the honor guard along the rows, keeping everybody in line, okay, so.
Officers should wear their robes, the president, vice president, and secretary.
There you go. I second that motion.
I resign as president.
So again, my job is to,
Charles to be president. Okay, so we've addressed the attire,
now I just need to know about diplomas.
diplomas.
I say we stick with what we did last year.
I enjoy doing it too, but I would
In the right
prefer
divisions.
to give it one more year so that I just think it would be a better comfort level for a lot of people.
Whatever space works best is what we need to do.
Yeah, and spacing
There's
and all
not the space
that.
for it, then let's not do it.
Sure. Okay, then I appreciate that. Then all I ask of you, if there is someone, of course, to my knowledge, unless I've have forgotten, of course, Pam Watts has Evan, her son graduating, she's certainly gonna give that diploma, things like that.
She will.
I know in the next year, Brad has one coming.
He hopes he does.
I still got a ways. I still got a ways.
Rick has one somewhere, and Andy, how close is yours? 3 more years, okay.
I have a sophomore.
Yeah.
And you have one in high school and one in sophomore, one in 3rd grade, right? So, all right, it's the direction I needed on graduation. Is there anything else, Mrs. Smith, since you're here in the audience, that I've missed about that you needed to know with your graduation committee regarding the board? It'll be spectacular. Last year was, and I no doubt will be even better. We're excited to host. I hate to bring this up, but weather, I would assume we will follow what we do, for example, UIL events. Let's say it's scattered. Let's say there's lightning or something. Then, as you know, we postpone. Like at a football game, you just wait it. So we would consider that, but then we'd have to, using football analogy, punt it at some point if it's just on, and then look at the next day, the next days.
So we don't have a forfeit or anything like that.
There's no forfeit.
34%.
There is no forfeit in commencement and graduation. We're graduating those students. We must walk across the stage. We'll figure it out. But our plan would be, so just as a reminder to staff, be sure we have those, like talking to our athletic director, the lightning meters, wherever they're called, that we normally have, just in case of inclement weather, things like that. Whew. But it's all coming this week. It's going to pass us, and we're going to have beautiful weather next week.
So now you are a weatherman.
Yes.
All right, weatherman, are we out of agenda items?
Yes, sir. Let's go home.
Then we're adjourned. Thank you all.
Oh, gosh.